Hello, my name is Terry Putney. I'm the CEO of Transition Advisors. We're a national consulting firm that specializes in working with CPA firms on ownership transition issues. The services that we offer include supporting merger and acquisition activity between CPA firms. We provide the introductions of the firms, conduct searches, and support the transaction all the way through to closing. We also work on general succession planning for partners of CPA firms, and we help in the development and restructuring of ownership agreements. I'd like to invite you to join us on October 25th when I'll be presenting a webinar on case studies on internal succession. This involves me going through 3 recent projects that I've been involved in, where we helped firms of various sizes with their succession issues, leading to, in each case, a restructuring, or in one case, actual development of an ownership agreement. I thought I'd give you a brief overview of those 3 cases in case you're unable to attend our webinar, and it could be that based on this summary that you decide to join us on October 25th. I certainly hope so. The first case is a $1 million sole proprietor, I've referred to as S&G. He operates currently in an S corporation. He has a manager that's worked with him for about 10 years that he sees as his eventual successor. This owner is only 52 years old, so this isn't something that is a imminent or a desperate situation. We worked on how to structure the buy-in for this new partner, which also involved, of course, thinking about the eventual buyout of the existing owner. We actually came up with the plan to start off with an 80-20 split in terms of ownership. But more importantly, what we did was that we froze the value for the existing owner at its current value, which was relatively basically at 1 times revenues, and then worked out a sharing arrangement where going forward, any increase in value, growth in the firm would result in a 50-50 split of that increase. We also found a way to create an advantageous tax situation for the selling owner, the current owner, by using personal goodwill on his eventual buyout. So we were able to avoid the ordinary income tax and payroll tax treatment for the current value of the corporation. So that's the first case. In the webinar, we'll go into much greater detail than that. The second case is a firm I referred to as ABPC. This is a $9 million 10-partner firm that had an owner agreement that they felt was obsolete and was not doing a good job of managing the value distribution amongst the shareholders. This is a C corporation, which was one of the issues that created a problem for us. One of the circumstances that we ran into in this case was that the firm had a whole lot of debt. Actually, the net value, the net equity of the firm was under $1 million, which is very low for a firm of $9 million in volume. And the reason for that was all of this debt. The other issue was that the current agreement only valued the firm at its net equity. So the total value in the shareholder agreement was less than $1 million. And that was allocated actually disproportionately to the owners, even though that they each owned the same amount of stock. So they were sort of treating this value as a deferred compensation agreement, when in fact it was only based on the net equity of the firm. So we went through, after going through the analysis, we recommended that the firm adopt a more traditional deferred compensation arrangement, which was based on a multiple of compensation of the owners. And we also created a plan for raising capital from the existing shareholders in an effort to pay down and actually eliminate the debt. We felt like the debt issue was getting in the way of operating the firm and actually creating a burden on partner compensation and a demotivating factor for the shareholders. The third example that we're going to go through is a $15 million firm with 9 partners. This is a specialty firm. Had 2 issues that really needed to be addressed. One was the firm, more than 50% of the ownership of the firm was held by one individual. And the other was that the feeling was that potentially the owner agreement as it currently was set up, this is an LLC, so it was an operating agreement, could get in the way of negotiating mergers that the firm wanted to undertake. So we, in fact, agreed that because the current agreement only recognized the intangible value of the firm at 1x revenues and had no recognition at all of the receivables and work in process, that would be a hindrance in negotiating a deal in a merger, because any merging in partners would be expected to contribute their working capital. So we devised a solution to that, which actually involved breaking down the value into the intangible and tangible pools without actually increasing the values to make things make more sense in a merger discussion. And then with respect to the owner who was the majority owner who was planning to leave or retire at least a part-time in about 4 years, we worked out a scenario that would reallocate his ownership to the existing owners in the firm on a performance-based allocation system, which is something that they hadn't used up to that point because they were using a closed compensation system. Nobody really had a good idea of the cause and effect of their performance and their compensation and value allocations. And so we helped them move over time from this, what in essence was a benevolent dictatorship, and I don't mean that in a negative way because it was a very well-run firm, to a more of a transparent executive committee-driven format or governance system. So I think we were able to overcome those two major issues with our recommendations. Again, I'd like you to consider joining me on October 25th for the full webinar. If you're unable to attend and would like to see the full presentation, we will have a copy of that posted on our website within a few days after the webinar is presented. But if you are able to attend, consider responding to the contact information on this email. So thank you for your attention, and hope you're able to join us. Bye.